Hi everyone, Olivia Reiner here for Packers News, joined by Ryan Wood and Jim Ozarski. And it is over. The Packers have finished the 2019 NFL Draft. They've gone through all their picks, and now we have some time to step back and reflect a little bit. So, Ryan, give me sort of just your general impressions from this year's draft, all 3 days.
Well, Brian Gutekunst has worn out the phrase best player available. I mean, whenever you'd ask him about any specific position, whether there was need to draft at that spot, he would say they just took the best player available. And for a GM that did that, he didn't leave a lot of positional needs. I mean, a year ago, we were grilling Brian Gutekunst after the draft is, where's your edge rush? Where's that coming from? A lot of years with Ted Thompson, we've grilled. There's a position that really went unchecked. For a guy taking best player available, Brian Gutekunst really did that. I mean, you talk about maybe a full-time slot receiver and a backup left tackle being their biggest positional needs after the primary phase of player acquisition in their offseason. They've got a pretty complete roster. I mean, they got their third running back today in Dexter Williams, 6th round. They addressed safety. They addressed edge rush. They addressed the areas that they needed. So there's not a lot of times that you leave a draft, you leave this area this time of year thinking that the roster is pretty close to complete. This roster seems pretty close to complete.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, we heard a lot of best player available. We heard a lot of versatility.
Right.
We said a lot of, hey, everyone pause. It's going to take 2 to 3 years until we really see how all of this plays out. So that being said, maybe contradict yourself a little bit, but if you had to, take a step back and look at what the Packers did over the last few days, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think that's the key phrase there is not only Ryan's best player available, but also take some time. And Brian Gutekunst used, and some of the scouts used the word development. And what does that mean? I think really Darnell Savage Jr. will probably should start at safety. Rashawn Gary is going to work in as a developmental rusher, but clearly they spent a lot of money to have Preston and Zadarius Smith. Maybe even Kyler Fackrell is for real after a 10.5 sack season. So the rest of this draft, I think, is built for 2021. We'll see them, I'm sure. That's the nature of the game, but I think that is the takeaway for me, Olivia, is one guy you could pencil in as the guy, and then a bunch of other guys who, yes, versatile, add depth, we'll see them, but if in terms of seeing them all the time, that might come a little later down the road.
All right, everyone. How did you feel about the entire draft the last few days? Let us know. Follow us on all of our social media. Make sure you're reading all of our stuff as well over on PackersNews.com. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.